y'all, my name is Taylor. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my recent reads, and I say recent as a very loose term because I haven't done a recent reads video since February, which was pre-baby. I had my baby back in February. Now it is the beginning of November, so it's been roughly 8-ish months since I have updated y'all on my reading. And in that time, I have read 38 books, which isn't a ton compared to some other booktubers. I mean, some read that much in a month, but that's a lot for me to do in one video. So I was kind of contemplating how to present to you my thoughts on these books without making a terribly long video. And I even did a community post asking for y'all's feedback. And I put up a poll, like, do you want a live stream? Do you want like a one-word summary, which would have been really hard. I'm glad y'all did not pick that one. And then, let's see, tier ranking or just talking like normal. And the results are pretty close for tier ranking and just talking. I think it was like 37% for tier ranking and 34% for just talking. So I was going to do the tier ranking video, but my computer died, and there's a lot of technical stuff I have to work out in order for me to do that. So I'm going to do the next best thing, the really close runner-up, and just talk. And so hopefully I can do a tier ranking video later on, since I know y'all are interested in that. I really love watching them myself, so they are just a lot of work. But once I figure out the logistics, maybe I can do that for the end of the year, even though that's going to be a lot more books to kind of cover. We'll see if I can do that instead. So thank you all so much for your feedback on the poll, so I had a direction on which to go. So let's jump right in and try to get through these as quickly as possible, and also see what all I remember. Because memory is kind of cray these days. So the first one I have for you is a DNF. I can't remember if I talked about this one. I don't think I have. This one was, I think I was massively pregnant at the time, so maybe hormones had a lot to do with it, but this book made me very angry. And the last time I was about to have a baby, another book maybe made me very angry, so maybe it's just the timing, maybe it was the hormones, I don't know, so take this with a grain of salt. But that is The Dark Prince's Choice by Caitlin Deliath. It is a Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast retelling, so it's a mashup. And all of those things sound right up my alley. The cover is beautiful. I love the cover. So the execution was just not it for me. With Beauty and the Beast, that's one of my absolute favorite fairy tale retellings, but this one was more like the Beast guy was like very condescending and demeaning, like, you will love me, you know? And I was like, what? They called each other's names, and I don't like that type of love where you call each other names, even if you're kidding. I don't like that. There was one weird line from him, like saying he has like a brother and something was happening to the brother, and he said like, you know, only I can kill him or something like that. It was something really weird, and I was like, yeah, no. I forced myself to 75%, and I just could not anymore. There's so many typos. There's so many things that got on my nerves. I just could not do it. So can't say I recommend that one. Yeah. Traitor's Mask by Kenley Davidson. This one also was okay for me. I rated it 3 stars. My main problem was that it was so long. It just kind of dragged on. I think I saw that it was like 400 or 500 pages, which is a lot for a fairy tale retelling. Most of them are kind of like 250 to 350 pages. And some fairy tale retellings I do want more just because I enjoy the story so much. This one just kind of dragged. It's, you know, it's a Cinderella retelling. I don't really, I just repeated my words. I don't really remember much else besides the fact that it was super long. The Serendipity by Emma St. Clair. This one was my first Emma book. I've heard so many good things about her, and I was very pleasantly surprised how much I really love this book. It is the first book in the only Magic in the Building series. The covers for these are absolutely gorgeous. I love them. That's my favorite color, blue. I'm immediately like, I need to read these. I'm not a contemporary romance girly, but the fact that it has like a whimsical magic to it, I think just set it over the edge into a 5-star range for me. I think I said I gave this book 5 stars. It is about the Serendipity, which is an apartment complex. It's really old, and it has a personality, so it makes love matches in the building. And this particular one, Archer, he is like a billionaire. He bought the apartment to kind of redo it and, you know, raise the prices on everybody, make it more modern, and which would basically like cause a lot of the residents to leave because they couldn't afford it. And the girl, I forget her name. Let's see, what is her name? She's a baker. I do remember she's a baker. Where is her name? I see Archer a bajillion times, so where is her name? I don't see her name. Willa, that's it. Willa, not Willow, Willa. It was a very good time. I highly recommend that one. That was my favorite one that I read out of the entire series. I haven't read the entire series, I should clarify. I read a lot of them. This is my favorite ones out of the one I've read. Out of the ones I've read. Next I have for you is Ogre Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine. This is the companion novel to Ella Enchanted. It's like a prequel. And Ella Enchanted, which I did actually read after this one because, you know, timeline wise, takes place. Oh my goodness, I cannot get the book. It takes place after Ogre Enchanted. So this is, you find out, I don't want to say anymore. They are connected. I just will not say how, because I think it's interesting. It was an interesting experience for me to see how they were connected, but this takes place before. And so this is Ella Enchanted is absolutely one of my, I think it is my favorite middle grade of all time, closely tied with another one I'm about to mention in just a second. She released Ogre Enchanted not too long ago, and I just hadn't gotten around to reading it. This was a lovely gift, and I had such a good time with this. It was a fun time. I really highly recommend the audiobook. It's just a good, fun little story to listen to, and it just wasn't as good as the OG, you know? So I rated this 4.5. This was a nostalgic read. I've read this a lot over the years. This comfort read for me. Probably the beginnings of my fairy tale retelling love. This is like a Cinderella retelling, like loosely. So this was a 5-star. The other one I was mentioning that I reread, absolute favorite, middle grade, closely tied with Ella Enchanted, is also by Gail Carson Levine, and is The Two Princesses of Bamar. And it's about two sisters. One of them is fierce and she wants to fight monsters, and the other one is more timid and she's like, just wants to be there for her sister. And so one of them gets sick, and the one that's more timid and doesn't want to fight monsters, she just wants to stay at home where it's safe. She has to go out and try and find the cure, which causes a lot of danger for her. So there's also a love story. I just love that book. I love it so much. Okay, so let me put these off to the side. I need to figure out my setup, like where do I put books? I don't have enough room. I also read another middle grade. I did participate in middle grade March, and they conveniently had The Secret Garden as one of their buddy reads, and I did read it. I just didn't participate in anything. Any of the discussions, I just didn't have time. I was very freshly postpartum in March. But anyways, I love this edition. Isn't it so pretty? I just had to get it. It was like $10 off of Amazon. Like, it has like the colored pictures and whatnot in it. So I love that. This is definitely a classic. It's very similar to the movie with Maggie Smith in it. I just could picture the movie while I was reading this, and I love this story. I mean, it's very sad, I'll give you that, but the ending is very uplifting, and there's a message at the end of it, and I did enjoy my time with it. It's very spring. That is a spring book, if not only just for the cover, but for the whole story itself. It has descriptions of the garden. I mean, like, that is spring in the book right there. The Cupid Chronicles by Courtney Walsh. This one I rated, I think it was 4 stars. Yeah, 4 stars. This one was cute. I can't remember, because the ones that I can't remember. Oh, this one? This was the one with the newspapers. So like, there'd be like a bulletin that the apartment would send to Mateo, who is the guy, and it would have him do like help with meet cutes. And so then the newspaper started going to a new resident, and so they meet to kind of set up meet cutes together, and so those two get paired together. So that was really interesting. I loved that one. Next I read Petals and Plot Twists. This one was, let's see, they're kind of running together in my head, like what method the apartment complex used to inspire love. Oh, this one was the one with the flower. There was a flower that was said to bloom whenever true love happened, and so the girl has been down on her luck in love. She's never had good luck with it, and so she sees a flower. She's trying to test the flower to see if it will show her true love, and lo and behold, her best friend has been in love with her for years. She's just kind of, not acknowledged her underlying feelings. So friends to lovers. It's just a good time. Legacy of Roses by Melanie Sellier. This is the first book in the Kingdoms of Legacy series. This is a new series she started, and I love the cover. Beauty and the Beast retelling. So basically this world is, you have legacies, and so you have the original fairy tale that happened, a curse happened, and the true love broke it. So like with Beauty and the Beast, Belle broke the curse by falling in love with Beast. But in this world, there are still shockwaves from the curse being in effect. So there's still lingerings of the curse happening. So many, many years ago, the original story happened. And then in this book, in this part of the kingdom, there's like roses that always bloom, and there's like it sets up the outline of the story for it to be broken again, so to speak. So yeah, I will leave it there. It's just such a unique premise, and I don't think I explained it super well. But I will have all of the books linked below, and also check out my Goodreads for more in-depth reviews, because I did review these in real time. They're a lot more conclusive and better thoughts when I actually read them, so highly recommend that. I'm just trying to glaze through all these and let you know what I thought in a nutshell. And then I also read Ties of Legacy by Melanie Sellier. This one was very interesting. So it's still in the legacy world, and you are tied to your kingdom. So if you like leave your kingdom, you start to feel bad. And so this guy, his mom did not want to be tied to a kingdom, so she helped him out by tying his magical bond to a candelabra. And so as long as he has his candelabra, he's good. But his candelabra gets stolen, and so he starts to feel terrible, and so he meets this girl that has the candelabra, and there's a whole journey that happens. I gave it 5 stars, I think, 4.5 or 5 stars. It was such a good time. Ties of Starlight by Celeste Baxendale. Y'all, if you love romantasy, please pick up this book. It was so good. Oh my goodness. I have not been this fangirly over a book in a long time. Like, I stayed up. I mean, obviously at the time I was staying up anyway, but I would have stayed up. Like, I was so invested. I needed to know. It was so good. This is about the elves, and there's this marriage that has to happen every 200 years or something by a certain date, because it helps strengthen their magic. And this half elf, she's half human, half elf, she ends up marrying this guy who's been in love with her for forever, but she hates him because she has a wrong impression of him. And so it's a journey of them fulfilling the requests of the magic in order to strengthen their people. If they don't do it, then their magic will dissipate and they'll be conquered or something. And I will say, like, as a Christian, some of you may be bothered by a component of this story. It did not bother me because it was fictional and it's just a good time. But I know some people are more cautious than others, which is totally fine. Your convictions are what they are, and that is between you and the Lord. And I did say, I think I said what it is in my Goodreads, but if not, if you are really wanting to know, you can message me and I can tell you. It is a very huge part of the story, so I don't want to give it away because that's part of the intrigue of the story. But if you really want to know, like I said, just ask me. Pollyanna by Eleanor Porter. This is another middle grade, like if you've seen the Haley Mills movie, is very, very similar. There's some things that were tweaked. I think the movie is honestly better than the book, but I do appreciate the book to kind of give more context of why things were the way they were. So I would recommend watching both, particularly in the springtime. It was very a sweet, heartwarming story. If you like Anne of Green Gables, you'll probably like Pollyanna. Anne of Green Gables is kind of better in my opinion, but Pollyanna is just a sweetheart. She has the GLAAD game where she will she's had a very sad upbringing. She's an orphan. You know, she tries to make a game out of finding things that are good despite what's happening to her. So definitely a very strong Christian messaging behind it. Her dad was a pastor. And so, yeah, that's just a really sweet read. And then I also read, almost dropped it, Prince Caspian and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader by C.S. Lewis. Let's see, I think I rated Prince Caspian like 4 or 5 stars. I can't remember. Did I read? Yeah, there it is. Okay. I was like, where did it go? Prince Caspian, I rated 4 stars. I'm not going to really go into the synopsis very much. It's Narnia. Like, if you've seen some of the movies, you kind of have a general gist of what is happening. This one, though, I was kind of surprised that I did not like this one as much. It was just okay for me. I rated it 3 stars. This one was very kind of like they're going on an adventure to somewhere and to the ends of the earth, basically. And they come across these weird situations, and I don't know, something about it seemed very pointless to me. I don't know. I was like, what are we doing? But yeah, it was still fine, but it's definitely my least favorite out of the series. I also read Discovering the Titanic by Michael Bergen. This is a kid's book. I rated it 3 stars, just thought I'd include it. If you love Titanic like I do, you know, it's something to read with your kids, or if you're very super into Titanic. It was okay. It was definitely a lot better books out there. I definitely went through a Titanic kick. I read these like the week it sank. That's kind of like a commemoration. I'm also really I think the movie did it, but I am very fascinated by that time period in history. Everything about the sinking and the ship itself is just fascinating to me. I also read The Girl Who Came Home by Hazel Gaynor. This one is a secular Titanic story. I rated it 3 stars. It was okay. You know, I think it was worth the read. There were a couple of things that were you know, like a couple cuss words in there, but it's clean. I mean, there's no sexual content or anything like that. But it's about this woman who survived the sinking of the Titanic, and then she goes back home to where she sailed from. And there's a modern timeline as well with someone who's related to her and trying to find out what happened. She's a journalist, so she's writing the story. So it's just very interesting. A Brilliant Night of Stars and Ice by Rebecca Connolly. This one is another Titanic story, but it's set in the... there's 2 different perspectives. There's one for a Titanic survivor, and the other one is through this perspective of the captain of the ship that rescues the Titanic, the Carpathia. This one was so good. Like, I was fascinated the whole time. It opened my eyes to what it would have been like, what the true dangers was of trying to rescue the Titanic. That didn't really quite click for me. You always hear the perspective of, Titanic centric stuff, not like the rescue of the Titanic, like the rescuers. What is their story? And a lot of it is historically based, and she did a phenomenal job. It's clean. It had like maybe one cuss word, if that. I can't remember. It was very, very minimal and very, in the moment, like it's very appropriate for what was happening at the time, if I remember right. But I rated it 5 stars. I highly, highly, highly recommend that book, particularly if you love Titanic anything. You got to read it. Risen, the novelization of the major motion picture by Angela Hunt. If you watched the movie, this is very, very similar. However, there is a love story in the book that's not present in the movie. And I think that the movie made the right decision to take out the story, because the romance was just very ick to me. I did not like the romance, which is that's saying something for a romance lover. Yeah, I just felt like it was him using her because, she's a Jewish woman. He's a Roman centurion. And, that was a big risk for her. And I think he was just kind of using her. But he, in the book, he's supposed to love her. But to me, it just kind of felt very like not a good relationship to have. But there is, pretty good faith elements in it. Just an okay read for me. I definitely prefer the movie to the book. Bride of the Fae Prince by Anastasia Blythe. This one I rated 3 stars, and this one is probably more of a me thing because Reese from the Writing Songboard, she loves this book. She's read it multiple times, and I feel bad because I did not like it as much as she did, but the reason why is because it has to do with the Fae, and I think there is a difference in the Fae. There's the debauchery, like bad fae, and then there's like the whimsical fairies that is more like what I like to read in my fairy tale retellings. The fae kind of leans more in the direction of like ACOTAR, and I had to be very, very careful with that because ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, that book was my favorite series pre-Jesus, and there are a lot of steamy scenes in there. Practically porn in the book. There is worse, don't get me wrong, but it's very explicit, and that's a fairy book, and that was my favorite, and I had to be very careful not to be tempted too far. Like, it was almost like I was having like a stress response in reading this book, because I was like, this reminds me a lot of liking ACOTAR, and I don't need to go down that route. So I think there was like this mental barrier that was happening for me with the fairy stuff and the fae, really, and the whole idea of him being kind of like a dark character, like he's a fae but he's fighting his nature. Like, I don't really care for that too much. So if that doesn't bother you, go for it. I mean, like I said, there's people that have loved the series. It's clean. There's no language or anything. It's secular. It's not Christian. It's secular, but it's clean. So, again, take my review with a grain of salt. That's like a personal conviction thing going on. But I can totally see why someone would like it. The Lily Gate by Hannah Sandvig. This is a Frog Prince retelling. I read this with my friend Lauren, and this was just okay. It was the 3 stars, pretty basic, very, very YA. So if you're a YA reader or you like that genre, I would recommend it if you really like fairy tale retellings. It just felt really basic to me. Let's see. A River Between Us by Jocelyn Green. I really, really love this book. I think I rated like 4.5, 5 stars. This is a love story between a girl that was in the South. She was working at a mill that provided the fabric to the the Confederates. I could not think of the word. And so she's deemed a traitor by the Yankees, and she is basically captured and moved out of the mill, and she meets a Union soldier, and this is a love story, and so you can kind of guess what happens. But she has a young girl in her care, and she's not officially her mom, but she basically takes her on as a mother figure. And so there, if you like single parent stories with a child that and then there's like a guy that's gonna take on the father role and fall in love and all that. So really love that one. Historical Christian fiction. It was really, really good. And it's not that long. So really recommend that one. There is an audiobook that was pretty good too. I did not care for the voice for the girl. But other than that, it was good. Aftermath by Terry Blackstock. This was a miss for me. This was a 2-star for me. It was just okay. It was a romantic suspense. I've read other Terry Blackstocks that I have absolutely loved, and this one was just not it for me. Part of it may be the fact that there is a Taylor character in this, and she was not a good representation of my name. I'll just leave it at that. It just was kind of cringe to me. But anyways, moving on. Rescuing the Titanic, a true story of quiet bravery in the North Atlantic by Flora Delargy. This one is like a picture book, but a bit more because it kind of gives you more facts and stuff. This one I rated 5 stars. I think it gave you excellent facts. The illustrations were great. So again, if you're a Titanic lover, would highly recommend this book. I think I would like to purchase this at some point to read with my daughter and have it as part of our collection. So highly recommend that one. And then The Stolen Kingdom by Bethany Atazadeh. I buddy read this with Old American Spirit, and this is if you can guess, an Aladdin retelling. And this one was just okay. I rated it 3 stars. I was kind of disappointed. I didn't like it more than I did. I can't even remember why I don't really like it that much. I don't remember. It was not that memorable to me. But again, like I said, you can probably check out my Goodreads. It was very, very, very YA, I think, is part of the problem, if I remember right. A lot of things were like, girl, like, what would have happened if you did that? Like, why did you do that? I don't know. Like, it was the characters were frustrating, was a lot of my problem. I've Said Love by C.P. Cabanis. And this is Courtney Reeds over on YouTube. And she writes fiction, contemporary romance. And so I think she reached out to me, if I remember right, and asking me if I wanted to listen to the audiobook in exchange for a review, honest opinions, all that. And so I said yes, and because it was an audiobook, and like, this is perfect. I'm a new mom. I need to listen more than read with my eyeballs. And so this is number 2 in her Vows series. This in particular was I forget what her full name is because her Val is short. Valerie. So she comes back home essentially and meets this guy, and they're planning their best friend's wedding together because the couple, they travel a lot and they weren't able to do it themselves. So in planning this wedding together, they get to know each other and they fall in love. So it was really, really sweet. The audiobook was really, really good. I rated it 4 stars. And I really enjoyed it. It was good. Highly recommend. But I will say that I do think it would be a better experience if you did read book 1 and then this one. This is technically book 2. They are, I mean, you know what's going to happen in a romance story, right? But I would have appreciated more reading the first book first, just because my brain is very linear. I do plan on going back and reading the first one eventually, but the wedding that they're planning is the couple from book 1. So, I mean, I think you would be best served to read them in order. And then Amber Gold by Rochelle Nelson. I've been saying Rachel. I recently found out it's Rochelle. But anyways, this is a dragon book. This girl, she has has been told all her life that dragons are the enemy, their dragons are hunting her, and then one day her father's like, I have this weapon, I'm gonna go kill the dragon. So they go and kill the dragon, and the dragon is not all that he appears, and that's all you need to know, because the mystery surrounding it is part of the experience, okay? You just, with Rachel Nelson's books, Rachelle's books, you need to go in kind of blind, and she does kind of do that on purpose. Like, her synopses are not very exhaustive in the explanation, and that, I like that. Don't read the description too much. Yeah, you just need to go in blind. This is not what I was expecting. I was hoping it would go one way, and it, I was surprised, pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed this book. This was, I think, a 4.5 for me. Highly recommend. I had a good time. The Tides of Time by Sarah M. Eden. This is a time travel book with a girl living in the French Revolution time, and so she's fleeing France because she is somebody who helps people escape, so she needs to flee for her own life, and her ship gets in a storm and she goes tossed overboard, and she pops up into the clear days of late 1800s, and she meets a lighthouse keeper's, I think he's the son or grandson. He's a lighthouse keeper in and of himself, but she's figuring out, like, things. She slowly comes to the realization that she's in a different time, a time in the future for her. And it was just very interesting, because usually you hear, like, people in the future going back in time, but she went forward in time to a time that's still in the past for us. So it's just interesting reading that dynamic as far as a travel story. Highly recommend. It was clean. It was just fascinating. I do plan on reading book 2 eventually. Yeah, I love that cover too. The Reckoning at Gossamer Pond by Jamie Jo Wright. This is a dual timeline as well. There was some revivals happening. I can't remember what time it was, like the 1900s or something, early 1900s. And then there's the modern timeline, and I can't really remember much else. There's a murder. They're trying to figure out what happened. It was okay for me. It was like a 3-star. I can't really remember. Let's see. My husband is home. I may have to finish this later. Hold, please. Hello. So I'm finishing up this video in the car. Sorry about that, but my husband came home, and then time got away from me, and I had to go to the dentist. And yeah, so now I'm in my car. I'm about to go pick up my kids, but I wanted to finish out this video because I was so close. But I just want to be vulnerable with y'all for just a second that you've probably noticed in my videos that I had some staining in my teeth going on, and yeah, that had popped up after I had my baby, and it just kind of progressively got worse despite everything I could think of to try at home. I tried so many different things. And because of insurance, you have to wait every 6 months or whatever, and then we moved, and then yada yada. So finally got to go to the dentist, and they took care of me. I'm so excited. Yeah, I don't mean to sound vain or anything, but it just was kind of made me feel self-conscious because, you can really readily see it. And it does make me feel kind of like a gross person to have such hard, readily apparent stains. And whenever you're meeting people for the very first time, you have an online platform. I know I was trying to let it not get to my head too much. I mean, it is what it is. People should judge you by the content of your character versus your appearance. But I am very happy to once again not dread seeing myself in the camera. Because I've taken pictures of my kids, and I'm like, oh, that looks terrible. Like, my teeth look awful. And then I felt bad, like, posting videos to subjecting y'all to my appearance. But nobody said anything, which is I'm thankful for. But yeah, I just I'm grateful to have clean teeth. So anyways, that was a long introduction to the second part of this video. So let's jump right back into where I was. So I also read All Things New by Lynn Austin. This is a historical Christian romance. It is in the, I did this the last video. I had this in a vlog and I could not think of the word. The Reconstruction period. Shortly after the Civil War, it has 3 different perspectives: a former slave owner, and a former slave owner's daughter. And it was very well written. Lynn Austin is such an amazing author. She is a gifted writer. It taught me a lot about the Reconstruction period, and I really enjoyed my time with it. I think I rated it 4.5 stars. And then Unearth the Tides, yet another DNF. This one was supposed to be a 20,000 Leagues Into the Sea retelling. Very, very YA. The main character was super immature. I mean, it just felt very childish to me. Not a lot of depth. I was bored. And then I read a duology, so Secrets in the Mist and Blood Secrets by Morgan L. Bussey. This is a steampunk fantasy, basically a zombie story, but it is Christian fiction. And it was very, very interesting. I have a vlog where I talk about it more. Highly recommend this series. I think I gave this one 5 stars and this one like 4.5. So I really, really enjoyed the duology. Whispers of the Starlit Sea by Robin Sarti. This one was an arc that I got. She didn't even expect a review, which I really, really appreciate for authors, that she's just trying to get her work out there, I think. And she's like, here's my book. You applied for it. Here you go. If you would review it, that would be really helpful. If not, that's cool. So I really, really appreciate that. But I feel really bad for my rating because of that, because I only rated it 3 stars. It was just kind of okay for me. You know, it was cute. It just wasn't the best I've ever read. But, you know, if you really, really like Little Mermaid retellings, you know, you can give it a shot. And then, let's see, I'm about to show you the library sticker. The Captive Heart by Michelle Greep. I also included this in a reading blog. It is historical Christian fiction. I described it as kind of like gritty because it has a little bit more details as far as like attraction and desire and all of that. Again, there's a trigger warning for child murder in there. It's very, very brief, but if that's a trigger point for you, I think you should know about it, because that one's kind of unsettled me a little bit, but not enough to DNF it. A Study in Scarlet by Arthur Conan Doyle. That one is the first book in the Sherlock Holmes series. I had read Hound of the Baskervilles last year and really, really enjoyed it. And my goal is to read them all in order eventually. And Alma read this with me, and I had such a fun time reading with her. I rated it 4.5. What did I read it? 4.5. Because there's like a part 1 and then there's a part 2, and there's such a drastic difference between the two. You're like, what is happening? There was like no explanation, no lead into part 2. You're like just trying to figure out what in the world, because it's just so different. So that threw me off. So that's the only reason why it's not a 5. And then let's see, The Heart of Bennett Hollow by Joanne Bischoff. This is a Christian historical romance, Pride and Prejudice retelling. It's also in a vlog I just posted. I rated it 3 stars. I thought it was watered down Pride and Prejudice. It was cute. It was set in the 1900s in the Appalachia area. I love the setting. I love the time period. I love all the historical parts of it. But there were some things that I didn't like about it. So it was just okay for me. You know, if you're a diehard Pride and Prejudice fan, you could either love it or not like it. I don't know. I don't know. And then I DNF'd Girl Lost by Kate Angelo. This one was a disappointment because so many people seem to love it. It has so many good reviews, and there's a couple of things that I did not care for. But the one that kind of set me over the edge, in my suspense novels, my romantic suspense, I need believability. I need to believe that this is remotely possible, and I did not get very far in, and the male main character is a law enforcement officer, and he's describing a crime that happened, and he said two dudes came out of a vehicle or whatever, specifically the two dudes. And if you're a law enforcement officer talking to another law enforcement officer, even if he's your friend, you would not use the phrase two dudes, okay? That's not realistic. And I did find out that there is organ harvesting of teens, so I'm confident in my decision that that is not the book for me. And then last but not least, I just finished Rapunzel's Gambit by Mary Meekum. Y'all, I love this book. It's Rapunzel with a Dragon. It was so good. The dragon, he is one of my favorite characters now. I love their banter, their dynamic. They are two of my favorite characters now. It was just so good. I don't even want to tell you much about it because you can kind of go into it blind. Just go off of Rapunzel and a Dragon. Like, what more did you need to know? There's banter. Like I said, you need to read it. Okay. It was excellent. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. It's if someone asked me to rate the Mary Meekum books, I don't know if I could. That one is definitely in the top 2 or 3. So anyways, that is it for now. Thank y'all so much for watching. Let me know if you've read these books or if I've piqued your interest about any of them. I love hearing that from y'all whenever you tell me that, oh, I'm going to try that book out. Y'all have no idea how much this is partly why I do this channel, is to help spread the love of books, clean and Christian fiction books. So that is part of why I do this, and I love the community, and the support of y'all just means the world to me. And so I hope y'all have a blessed day, and like I said, thank y'all so much for watching. Bye, y'all.